You are listening to 90.3 KEXP, where we broadcast live here in Seattle 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and around the world at kexp.org. My name is Troy Nelson, very excited because the band we have in the KEXP live room has one of my favorite records of the year. And so, Horsegirl, if you are all ready, take it away. You are listening to Horsegirl live here on KEXP.
Up and down, left, right, counting
Yes, that is Horsegirl, live on KEXP, and that song, Anti-Glory, which is one of my favorites from the record. Honestly, you all have put together an album that I've just been listening to a lot and truly is one of my favorites of the year so far. So
thank you.
Yes, it is true, and I just watched the video for that song. I hadn't seen that yet. Who directed the video for that, and who came up with the split screen idea for that?
That was, I guess it was like we had a bunch of ideas, and then we ended up thinking that the best way to combine them was by using split screen. It was directed by Erin Vasilopoulos. Her last name, it's Greek. It's Greek. And it's something like that.
Right. It's something on those lines, yeah. A little hard to pronounce. I'm very curious. The album is called Versions of Modern Performance. Where did that title come from?
My microphone, does it work?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. That was sort of just like, we really like album titles that sort of don't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So like
In on the Kill Taker?
In on the Kill Taker was like a really big one for us. And as we were just like, as we finished our album, we had a huge list of all these album titles that we really loved. And a bunch of them were just phrases that didn't make sense. So we kind of wanted one that like you read it off of first read, it doesn't really make sense, but then you think about it and it's like, oh, like we are performing and like it's modern because we are now, and that's our version of it.
I love it. I love that. Yeah, album titles that don't make sense. I love that. Also, what can you tell the listeners that might not be familiar what it was like to work with John and Yellow?
Oh my God. It was insane. It was amazing. I mean, all of the album was basically written like with the idea that we would record it in my basement. And so we had never thought we would be in electrical audio with someone who like had recorded a lot of our heroes. So it was just like the whole thing was kind of crazy for us. He would do these things where he'd be like, oh, like this is Kim Gordon's mic. Like here you, like he totally would like play it out.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it was amazing. I think it was like a huge learning experience for us that we were just like very grateful to have.
Yeah. How did you get his attention though?
I mean, you know, we had the help of the label to, you know, brainstorm kind of what we wanted to do with the album. I mean, it was crazy to get to sit down with something we had written, not knowing we would be able to like show it to all these people. So.
And another thing is when I listen to your music, especially while I'm sitting here listening to it now, I just I feel like you're so tapped into this certain sound. And I don't know, like you had mentioned some of your heroes. I don't know who they are, but when I hear this sound, you know, I think of a very post-punk time. I think of like the Delta 5, or I think of the Raincoats. I think of these bands. And then I see that you're just very tapped into it, and I love that. But also, at one point, you covered the Au Pair song, It's Obvious. Mm-hmm. How did you find that song?
I mean, I guess the odd thing about like our generation is that the internet and like streaming is actually, I mean, it definitely has its downsides, but it also makes everything just so easy to find. And I know that like we have found a bunch of very good things just, you know,
through the internet.
Yeah.
Right.
Traversing Spotify.
But some people can hear, so I guess I'm just like, wow, I must have been far behind because I didn't start listening to quote unquote cool music until I was like almost 30 or something. I was like 27. And you are also young and you just consumed this, you found this sound and just consumed a bunch of it, I assume, and are able to sort of translate it through your art and put it out there into the world. And it just really kind of blows my mind. And how well you do it. Also, you have covered the Minutemen.
Yeah.
Now, that's a little different than what we're talking about.
Right.
But how did you discover that song and that band?
I do think I found out about the Minutemen from Jeff Tweedy's book. Mm-hmm. He wrote a lot about that band, and I remember distinctly, like, reading about when I read, like, I read Kim Gordon's book and Jeff Tweedy's book, and we all would do these things where we'd, like, send each other the bands that they referenced, like, write them down. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's how we found it. But I mean, I think that song is like kind of a punk manifesto. Those lyrics are so iconic. So some might think it's a little bold of us to, I don't know. We were, you know, we have a lot of respect. You know, I don't know. But anyway, yeah. found it from a book.
I love it.
And fell in love with it.
That's fantastic. And lastly, so what I want to do with you all now is I'm going to name 4 bands. And they all have 2 or 3 things all in common with each other. And I would love for you to tell me what those commonalities are. So I'm going to mention 4 bands. And what do they all have in common? All right. The bands are Lifeguard, Freako, Wahl Troop, and Post Office Winter.
No,
They're all pretty good.
they're all the worst bands in the world.
And the horrible people, but I like their shirt.
They're all our enemies, actually. Yeah.
Now, aren't they all in one of your music videos?
Yes.
Members of
Yes.
those
Yes.
bands.
Yeah. Well, they're all bands from Chicago, from our same little like youth sort of scene. And the video for Dirtbag Transformation, we just got a bunch of our friends, like
Was shot in my elementary school auditorium.
That's right. I did see that.
Yeah, and then we just like assembled, our friends in bands plus like etc. Just friends of friends and everything, and we just kind of like put them into weird groups and gave them like colanders and like bowling shirts, and then we just kind of
What's crazy about that video is like we gave them no direction. It was like 2 days before, and we just texted everyone we knew, and we were like, please, like we need to do this weekend. And then they all came, and then there's like a shot of everyone together on the stage, and it's like insane. But we didn't tell them to do any of that. Like they're jumping over each other. Like
There's a human
it's
snare
crazy.
stand.
Yeah. So there's a vision that was not even ours.
And I think it was also this beautiful thing of we weren't even attempting to be like, oh, we have like all our friends that are in bands. It's just like those are genuinely all of our friends.
Yeah.
And we kind of like it just happened to be that we can
We try to rep them when
try
possible.
to rep them at any point.
So which shirt are you wearing right
Lifeguard?
now? Oh, that's a Lifeguard
It's
shirt.
it's an original screen printed by them.
I would say my key is a Post Office Winter homage.
Oh,
The
most
drummer of Post Office Winter pioneered this.
Love it.
You know.
Well, thank you for turning me on to these bands because I didn't know about them until I was researching Horsegirl. So thank you all so much. It was wonderful meeting all of you, and thank you for taking the time to do this today.
Thank
course,
you very
thank
much.
And will you please come back?
Oh, yes.
Anytime.
All right, the door is open. Once again, you heard Horsegirl right here live on KEXP.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.